In software engineering, we are taking the chapter number 2. The name of the chapter is software engineering. Whenever we talk about process or whole project, we have to talk about certain activities which are going on till the start to the end, which are called umbrella activities. What is an umbrella? Umbrella saves you from rain, getting wet. So, in software engineering process framework, because we talked about the process framework, all these activities which are going on, whatever process you take for software engineering, there are certain activities which are going on, or you can say they are complementing the basic process framework activities, and these are called as umbrella activities. As I said, from the inception of the project till the end, till the deployment delivery, these all activities, umbrella activities, are applied throughout. That is, the software team now can manage, can control the progress, can define and ensure the quality, can implement the changes and record the changes, and also risk management can be done. So we'll see one by one all these umbrella activities. The first one is software project tracking and control. We are talking about if you see the figure on the right, it's a kind of umbrella which has been cut into certain triangles. So this team which is dealing with this software, so the software project tracking and control is all about the team which is abiding by the project plan. PP is for project plan, and taking action to maintain schedule, because 2 months delay, 4 month delay should not happen. Next thing is risk management, because risk is always there in life. Everywhere there is risk. So we have to assess the risk, because the quality and the outcome of the project, if this risk is going to affect it, the software team should know it and to do certain actions to minimize it or to remove it, to nullify it. Because any risk which is left unattended can affect the quality of the product, right? This is the risk management. So this is also an umbrella activity. Now comes the main part, software quality assurance. So if you see here, this is quality assurance, and this was the first one, project tracking and control. Then we talked about the risk management. So software quality assurance, first the team or the software people should define what is software quality, or what are the ways they are going to ensure the quality, and then conduct activity to do certain things so that they can ensure that the quality is maintained. It can be, say, some reviews, it can be testing, technical reviews kind of thing. So the software quality assurance, it's not only software quality, but it is assurance. That is, this particular quality will be maintained. The next, which I just mentioned, is technical reviews. So whenever we write a code, what we'll do? We'll do the testing. We'll uncover the problems, remove the problem. But here, the technical review is also a good way to assess whatever is the outcome, that is the work product, to find out the error. Because if we don't remove the error, they will be propagated to the next activity. So if you're a coder or a program manager or a lead, there are people who can sit and can look. It can be over the shoulder, it can be discussion on the PowerPoint presentation. So the technical reviews is a good way to find out the error and to remove it. Next thing which comes in umbrella activities is measurement. See, everything has to be measured, and it is being measured how? Because say 1 million pounds or dollar is given to you for a project. So it's an amount. It can be measured. And the work you have to complete is, say it is in 1 year. This is also a measurement. So this measurement defines and collects process, project and product measures. Next comes is the configuration management. This is a software configuration management. Basically, it is all about change management. Okay. In 3 months, you deliver certain incremental value of the project. The customer will give you feedback. Oh, I want this. You can change like this. So you are actually changing. But this change has to be version controlled. It has to be noted. It has to not propagate other errors in the program. So this is change management. Next comes the reusability management. So before we start, even say if you are having a company, you know that if you are writing a code, say for a transmission control protocol, TCP protocol, okay, some connection kind of thing. Now in any other project you might need this code, so why to reinvent the wheel when you have already written this code? So the reusability, we need to define a criteria, certain rules, regulation or the idea so that you may reuse the product. That is the software components we are talking about. So these are the umbrella activities we are talking about, and now comes the work, product, preparation and production. That is, finally you have to give product. But in the software engineering practice or activity, you also need to create products which are beneficial for the project completion, timely completion. So it can be models you are creating, it can be documents you are generating like the test cases or the software requirement specification, the logs, the forms you are generating, the list. So the list is long. The list of lists are long. So this is how we talk about umbrella activities. Process adaptation. So process is all about what you choose as a software team or a company or an enterprise, what you are going to adopt. So from the start till end, if you follow a process, you see on the right, I am showing you the process also, but we'll be talking about that later. But here I am talking about the adaptation. Adaptation means the flexibility, the agility, the adaptability. So as we discussed earlier also, software engineering process is not rigid. That is, if you take, it's not like a stone. It's like a wet clay. That is, the shape you want, you can give the shape. That is, software engineering process are not rigid. It's up to you. These processes are agile. Agile means quite flexible. Adaptable means according to the problem, according to the project, according to the team size, according to the organizational culture. These software engineering process can be changed, adapted. That is the adaptability of the process you choose for the completion of certain project. It can be app, it can be website, it can be a software. So it can be different for a different project. So what does it mean that the software process you take for one project can be different for another project? I'll give an example. Let us take an example of Facebook. Now it is, the parent company is Meta. So the Facebook is a very big website, app or, an application. But if you're making, say, a calculator, simple calculator. So the difference of these two work, how can we discuss it? The difference may be what will be the flow of activities, actions, tasks, and what are the interdependencies among them. See, the flow of activities for the making a Facebook or say a YouTube, the action task will be quite higher as compared to when you are making a calculator, right? the task and action we are talking about means the different activities, how much they are being defined. So for a calculator, there will not be much, but for Facebook, it may be too many. Now, what will be the work products? For a calculator, it can just be one iteration or maybe two. But for Facebook, making a Facebook or the voluminous and strong software, you need to identify certain work product, many of them. Then the quality assurance, more in FB, less in calculator. The project tracking and control activities, more in a big project, somewhat lesser in a moderate project. What kind of degree or rigor means how much you have defined or described the process. This will be also different. And how much you are talking to the people for whom you are working, that is the customers, stakeholder, how much they are involved in making a project, making a software work, and what is the autonomy which is given to the software team. If you remember, this customer and stakeholders also they are responsible for what Facebook is right now, and the autonomy which is given to the software team. This is also process adaptation. Then comes the team organization and the roles. Maybe a Facebook kind of software can have multiple teams working on different aspect of the website or app or program. The calculator maybe one person can develop, or maybe two of them. So this is all coming in the process adaptation because it is not rigid. Software engineering practice. So, what are the normal practice a software engineer should apply or put in his practice or her practice? So, there is a book. I'll just show you the book. This book is called How to Solve It. And this was written by George Polya. And this was written well before today's modern type of computer existed. And this was basically on the problem solving issue. But from here only, the problem solving, here came the software engineering practice essence. That is what we are discussing, the software engineering practice. The actual content or the core has come from there. The first thing is to understand the problem. First, understand the problem. If you understand the problem properly, you will be able to give the solution. That is, if you are from the company, you need to talk to the customer multiple times. There has to be proper communication and analysis, samiksha. Understand the problem. If you don't understand, verification, validation, when you are going to do, there will be problems. Plan a solution. Because if you understand the problem and you know what you have to make, you can now make a plan to solve the problem. That is, you can make the models, you can design it properly. Then what you have planned, we will carry out this plan. What you have planned. That is code generation, whether you have to use which framework, it is a networking kind of stuff or some standalone project. Then finally, whatever you have made has to be checked, examined for the accuracy. For that, we may use testing, we may use all the criteria we have defined for total quality assurance. So these are the 4 things which are coming in the practice. So let us discuss understand the problem more. That is, who has a stake in the solution to the problem? Whatever you are solving or whatever you are automating, whatever software you are making, who all are the stakeholders? That is the software you are making, the application you are building, or the website. Who all people? They are not only the customer is your only person to whom you are talking. There are other people also who have some or the other stake. Next comes is what are the unknowns? That is, whenever you are making a problem, you are talking about data functions, because 2 plus 3, 2 into 3 you can do. But if I say you take the integral, you have to put more data functions and features, right? So this is what are the unknowns. This will help you to understand the problem. Then only you can solve the problem. Then if a problem is big, let me give you an example. Whenever you eat a bread, you don't eat whole bread. You take a core so that it fits into your mouth, right? So any big problem needs to be divided into smaller parts, manageable parts. So can the problem be compartmentalized? This is very important. And can the problem be represented graphically? Now you see this picture. So this picture is showing you various things. Say it is a picture shows 10,000 words. It is equivalent to 1,000 to 10,000 words. So it is better always to show or represent the problem graphically. If it is there, that is, if you can make a model, we can make certain graphs. It is always easier to understand the problem then. We will talk about UML later. That is one of the way we can represent various diagrams, say from the requirement till end. Coming to the planning of solution. Because you have understood the problem, now you have to plan the solution. Because have you seen similar problem before? Are there certain patterns which you can easily identify because you are going to solve certain things? And if you understand the pattern, it is easy to solve or to plan the solution, right? Pattern are certain content which have same attribute. And is there any existing software that is already implementing these data function features that is required in this software? This kind of problem, has it been earlier solved? That is, as I said, you are writing a transmission control protocol code. If you are making UDP, can this TCP idea can be used, or the code can be used? Can sub problems be defined? As I said, it is always good to divide the major thing into smaller things. Can you represent a solution in a manner that leads to effective implementation? That is, once you have created a model, can you design model that can be created? Then when you plan the solution, you have to carry out this plan also. Does the solution conform to the plan? That is, if you have designed certain thing, you made a model, is your implementation, that is writing a code, because you're making a model, that source code, is it made such that it conforms to the model you have made? It represents the model? Is each component part of the solution probably correct? Because, for example, you are writing different functions. Are all these functions properly checked, verified? Are they working correctly? They have been properly reviewed? Are they correct? Because when you combine them, then each part should be correct. Then only you will get a proper result. And once you are done, you have completed it. It's not completed because we have to check, verify, validate. So is it possible to test each component part of the solution? Has a reasonable testing strategy been implemented? Are you going to do some, do you have some test cases, acceptance testing kind of thing? Does the solution produce results that conform to the data functions and features that are required? Okay, because you need to validate everything starting from the SRS, software requirement specification. There are, say, 50 SRS requirement. Are all these in the final software? So the general principles, because we are talking about software engineering practice, so many people have given their idea. So one of the Cisco guy, David Hooker, he proposed 7 principles. So he is the gentleman we are talking about. So he proposed 7 principles that are focusing on the software engineering practice, how the practice should be there for any software engineer. So what are these 7 principles? They are quite obvious basically, but he combined them and presented well in his seminal presentation. So the reason it all exists, why you are making a software, you are actually automating certain things, solving certain problem, or you are adding certain value to the work. Okay, so this reason is your customer. KISS means keep it simple, make it easy, maintain the vision. Sometimes what happens, in a race you start very fast, but by the time you reach the end you're already fatigued, right? So here software, whatever you have thought earlier, the vision should be maintained so that you reach what goal you have finally thought. What you produce, others will consume. This is true for your consumer. You are making a software that will be used by certain consumer. You are making a code that will be maintained by some member of your team. Be open to the future. What do? Whenever we make a road, we just make 2 lane, one from incoming, one from outgoing. But now the houses are being made and the population have increased. What do? So initially you make 4 lane, and I am saying 6 lane, 12 lane, whatever lane is possible. So be open to the future. Plan ahead of reuse. You know that what you are making, don't reinvent the wheel, always make code again and again. Make a component, reuse it so that your work can be easily completed. And finally, all these 6 things which you talked about, think. The more you think, the more software engineering will help you, and you can employ software engineering in your work. There are software myths. People have this something in their mind which is not true, actually untrue. So we'll talk about this in the later discussion. Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.